with the NCAA Tournament in the books, it is time to look forward to the 2016 NBA Draft. Now, some of these players in this mock draft we saw in the NCAA Tournament. So let's get started. Or we saw them in the NIT as well. With the first overall pick, I have the 76ers going with Brandon Ingram, the shooting forward out of Duke. Now, I know there's a comment coming from one of the viewers of a lot of mock drafts. He's saying, why is Ben Simmons not number one? Ben Simmons going number one. There's no doubt about it. It's not even a question. But I just think it's going to be a debate all the way through draft night. The 76ers will at the last minute take Brandon Ingram because they'll feel like Brandon Ingram is more of a fit for them than Ben Simmons is. And that pick will also work out for the Lakers, as the Lakers will take Ben Simmons out of LSU at the number 2 overall pick, because it's going to work out for Ben Simmons in Los Angeles more than it will in Philadelphia, because Los Angeles Lakers, they're a team that's in development. And next year, when there's no Kobe there because he's retiring, his last game is next week, it's going to be a team in development. Because I don't see the Lakers making the playoffs next year or the year after that. A team like the Lakers works out for Ben Simmons because look at who's on there. D'Angelo Russell, Nick Young, Jordan Clarkson. Those are 3 young players. And let's not also forget Larry Nance Jr. That's 4 young players. That's 4 youth players for the Lakers. And adding Ben Simmons to that, making it 5 players for the Lakers, it'd be a team that in about maybe 4 to 5 years could maybe be in the hunt for a championship. Anyway, at number 3, I have the Suns going Dragan Bender, the power forward out of Israel. Now, many people think that he has the qualities of Kristaps Porzingis, who could possibly still be the Rookie of the Year. Like, if I had to decide Rookie of the Year, I would choose Kristaps Porzingis over D'Angelo Russell. Because I feel like if we redid last year's NBA Draft, I would think there's a good chance that Porzingis would have been number 1 over Karl Anthony Towns. In fact, I think if we redid it, I think Karl Anthony Towns would have fallen all the way down to maybe 3 or 4. I think it would have went Porzingis, Russell still would have gone number 2, then probably Anthony Towns, and Okafor probably would have dropped to about 5. Now at number 4, this would have been the Nets pick, but the Celtics own it with some trades. But I have them going with Jamal Murray, the shooting guard of Kentucky. That's just a steal for the Celtics and gives them a shooting weapon. Jamal Murray is just outstanding at shooting the 3-point ball. He's kind of like, I would say he's probably once in about every 3 years of a player. I mean, even though he came from Kentucky, I still think that Jamal Murray is an outstanding shooter. I think the Celtics will get a steal out of him at number 4. Now, number 5, the Timberwolves. Now, let's throw it back a little bit to 2009. The Timberwolves had 2 chances to draft Steph Curry, and they, instead of drafting Steph Curry, they took Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio. Do they learn their lesson by taking Buddy Hield with the 5th overall pick? And the answer to that question in this mock draft is no. They will take Kris Dunn, the shooting guard out of Providence. Now, if you ask me, I think Kris Dunn should just stay for his senior season. I would say that, yes, I think Kris Dunn's a good player, but in the top 5, but with the Timberwolves, would it really work out right away? Or do you think that maybe the Timberwolves will trade down maybe? Or will Kris Dunn's stock just drop a little bit? Because we still have the NBA Combine that takes place around May 10th or 11th. But right now, if the draft were tonight, I would say the Timberwolves would take Kris Dunn at 5. At number 6, the New Orleans Pelicans, they will take Buddy Hield, the shooting guard out of Oklahoma. Now, in the Ben Simmons video, when I used Ingram, Simmons, and Hield, one of the comments I received was, whenever I watch a Buddy Hield game, don't even focus on the offense, just focus on what he does on defense. That is Buddy Hield's one flaw, is how he plays defense. I think Buddy Hield would probably be in the race for being a 2 or a 3 overall pick. But he's not that good of a defensive player. But with the Pelicans, I don't think it's going to really matter because the Pelicans will probably try to be scoring a lot of points next season to stop teams like Golden State and San Antonio and Portland. So they don't need Buddy Hield because he's a great shooter, and I think it would work out for him in New Orleans in the Big Easy. Number 7, I have the Sacramento Kings taking Jaylen Brown, the shooting guard and shooting forward out of California. This is a pick because Sacramento has Rajon Rondo, they have DeMarcus Cousins. They just need that shooting forward and the shooting guard, and I think Jaylen Brown would help that team tremendously. Number 8, I have the Nuggets with Jakob Poeltl, the center out of Utah. I feel like the Knicks just need some size and some height to that team, and I think Jakob is going to work out for them. Probably even right away, because Jacob's I think he's 7'3". That's pretty tall. So I think the Nuggets take this opportunity to draft the big man out of Utah. At number 9, I have the Raptors going Dejounte Murray, point guard and shooting guard out of Washington. I think this is probably the most underrated player in this draft class this year so far. And I think he could be in contention for Rookie of the Year if he can start right away, get some solid minutes. I think the Raptors will have some nice production out of him. At number 10, I have the Bucks going with Denzel Valentine out of Michigan State. Now, Denzel Valentine, I originally had him a couple of picks down, but I think he moved up a little bit. So I watched more Denzel Valentine tape, and I watched some more of his games. I think he looks way better than what he looks. He missed a couple games this season with some knee surgery, but I think he'll be ready to play in the NBA. Number 11 on the match going Timothe Lowell out of France. Now you don't really know much about the foreign players because you don't really see them on TV. So whenever you hear about them, you have to look them up on YouTube or maybe even NBA.com. But I feel like this could be a solid pick for the Magic moving forward. Number 12 are the Jazz with Demetrius Jackson, the guard out of Notre Dame. Now, whether Demetrius Jackson comes out, I think he'll be a lottery pick for sure. I feel like he's done enough to prove that he's a lottery pick. So I think the Jazz take him at number 12. Number 13, the Suns. Henry Ellenson, the forward out of Marquette. I just feel like the Suns would use him. Could probably use him for maybe the inside post. Or maybe around the paint area. Number 14, I have the Pistons with Brice Johnson, the forward out of North Carolina. Brice Johnson, he would be a huge beneficiary for the Pistons. However, as I said before, this order of the mock draft, I started working on this 2 weeks ago, and the Pistons are in the playoffs for the first time since 2009. But I still think Brice Johnson deserves to be a lottery pick. Or maybe the Pistons will probably trade up for a lottery pick. I'm not sure what the rules are on that. NBA experts, comment on that below, because I'm not sure on all the rules when it comes to the draft. Number 15, I have the Celtics with Ivan Rabb, the center out of California. That'd be huge, because right now, if this mock draft were to be the exact order, the Celtics are huge winners in this draft. Because they get a nice shooter, and they got a nice big man, a big center to work the post. And then at number 16, I have the Nuggets doing with Domantas Sabonis, the power forward and center out of Gonzaga. Now, in a lot of mock drafts that I have seen so far, Sabonis is probably toward the top 5, around 6 to 9. But I have him dropping a little bit, because I think his downfall could probably just be, his downfall is he might be a little too aggressive. Because he was in foul trouble in some games that I watched this season. So at number 17, I have the Bulls with Damian Jones, the center and power forward of Vanderbilt. Now, most likely, since this mock draft's messed up, as I've said 3 times already, I feel like a broken record. Maybe the Bulls draft Brice Johnson at 14. But I think maybe Damian Jones is probably more of a fit. At number 18, I have the Nuggets going with Tyler Ulis, the point guard out of Kentucky. Now, Tyler Ulis is an all-around player. And maybe any other year, he'd probably be maybe around the top 5, top 10. But I just think these GMs are going to look at the consistency of each player. And Tyler Ulis did not really pick it up until conference play. Tyler Ulis is an outstanding player, but the consistency is what's going to really haunt him. The lack of consistency all year long. Because in the NBA, it's all about consistency. Especially in this day in the NBA. Because we have dominant teams like the Spurs and the Warriors. Even Cleveland and the Raptors and the Trailblazers. All those other teams. Number 19, I have the Indiana Pacers going with Furkan Korkmaz, the shooting guard out of Turkey. Number 20, I have the Hornets going with Taurean Prince, shooting forward out of Baylor. Number 21, I have the Atlanta Hawks going with Diamond Stone, the center out of Maryland. Now this is a very important pick for the Atlanta Hawks because there is a possibility, because Al Horford is a free agent at the end of this season. There were actually rumors the Hawks were going to trade him at the trade deadline this year, but I feel like Horford will probably not be on the Hawks next season as he will test the free agency market, and this pick of Diamond Stone is really important for those Hawks. Number 22, I have the 76ers with Skal Labissière, power forward of Kentucky. Now, as you can see with the pick of Brandon Ingram at number 1, and now Skal Labissière at number 22, 76ers are looking to rebuild. They want to start winning ASAP. And Skal Labissière, he's a very all-around player. He's very good at he's really good at getting into the paint, inside, outside post. I think Skal Labissière is a huge steal for the 76ers at 22. At 23, I have the Glazers going with Kris LeVert, the shooting guard out of Michigan. Now, I watched a lot of Kris LeVert in his freshman season, the year that Michigan made that run to the championship game, but then lost against Louisville. And Kris LeVert, he's a really great player, but the consistency again. Maybe Kris LeVert would have been maybe a top 15 pick if he would have been more consistent, maybe toward the top 10, top dozen lottery pick. And at 24, the Celtics have Melo Trimble, the point guard of Maryland. Now, many people think Melo Trimble is probably going to be toward the bottom of this first round, or maybe toward the beginning of the next round, the second one. But I like Melo Trimble right here at 24, because the Celtics have that pick at 24 in this mock draft. As I said with the last pick of Even Rob at 15, the Celtics are going to be huge winners in this draft if this is all accurate, there's a 100% chance that this isn't. Now, at 25, the Clippers are going with Ivica Zubac, the center out of Croatia. Now, this is where Grayson Allen probably would have went to, or the next pick with the Raptors at 26. But Grayson Allen is returning for a season. But let's just face it, Grayson Allen is Christian Laettner 2.0. Everybody does not like him. They despise Grayson Allen like they did with Christian Laettner. Grayson Allen just tripping over people, being a poor sport, sore loser. And the Clippers need to take this one to get some size to help DeAndre Jordan, possibly Blake Griffin. Although I don't see Blake Griffin being on the team next year after his little off-the-court incidents. I feel like that's a great pick for the Clippers. At 26 are the Raptors with Malik Beasley, the shooting guard out of Florida State. This is where I was debating whether or not they go with Malik Beasley or Monty Morris. I feel like they think Malik Beasley would be a little more ready than Monty Morris is. Because Monty Morris just had a lot of good, big talented players around him, like George Niangs and Nader, and like Matt Thomas, I think his name is. I can't remember right now. But number 27, the Starting season with Petit, or I think it's like Peter Cornely, the power forward out of France. I don't know much about the foreign players, and not very many people do. There's not much of an explanation for some of these picks lately that have shown up. Number 28, I have the Suns going with Paul Zepser, the shooting forward of Germany. Number 29, I have the Spurs going with Monty Morris, the point guard out of Iowa State. I just feel like Monty Morris would probably I think he's more of a second rounder. But I like the Spurs to take this chance to get him. The number 30, I have the Golden State Warriors, who are already being portrayed as the NBA champions this year. I can go with Malcolm Brogdon, the shooting guard of Virginia. Malcolm Brogdon is just a talented player out of Virginia. He had a great NCAA tournament. He had a great senior season. This is just Malcolm Brogdon, the shooting guard, to the Golden State Warriors. It's like giving a superhero another power or another weapon. The Warriors would be even more unstoppable with Malcolm Brogdon, because he's a very solid player, very talented player. And I feel like if he had a fifth season, which he can't, I feel like he could work all the way up into the lottery. Now let's take a look at notable players that I think could be drafted in the second round. Let's start over here with George Niang. I think he should be a second round pick out of Iowa State. Daniel House out of Texas A&M. Fantastic senior season. Solid NCAA tournament, as well as Jaylen Jones of Texas A&M. Maybe late second round. This one might not happen, but Alex Caruso out of Texas A&M. He was on that team at the beginning of the Bill Kennedy days at Texas A&M. He was through the bad times of the program. Although I don't think he's going to be drafted, he deserves to be drafted somewhere, or at least sign a deal with somebody, because he deserves everything. Sticking with A&M through those bad times, and finally getting a chance to prove himself in the NCAA tournament. I also think Marcus Page should be drafted. Marcus Page, the person that gave North Carolina some life, gave him a chance to win that game against Villanova, but could not pull it out in the end. I also want to see Ryan Arcidiacono drafted as well. And Kris Jenkins and Josh Hart. Those three Villanova players, they deserve to go to the NBA, because I questioned all season long whether Villanova was a good team or not. And I kept saying Villanova's not that good of a team. Villanova's overrated, and then they won the championship. The way they played throughout that tournament, they proved me wrong. When you beat teams like Iowa, Miami, Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Carolina, if you beat those 5 teams 5 games in a row, with the consistency level they won those games as, they deserve to go to the NBA. They deserve a shot at the next level. Although Kris Jenkins and Josh Hart might actually stay for another season. I know Kris Jenkins is a junior, but I'm not sure if Josh Hart is a senior or a junior. I also think that the big power forward out of Iowa, I think his name's like Gerard Uthoff or something like that. I think he'll actually be early in the second round, probably among one of the first 3 or 4 picks in the second round. So that will wrap it up for my first ever NBA mock draft. Not only on this YouTube channel, but in my entire life. I never really got around to doing NBA mock drafts, but this year was going to change for me. I would also like to announce that we have the NHL playoffs starting this week, as I said earlier in the video. It'll either be up there tomorrow evening, or Monday afternoon, early evening, late afternoon, however you want to say it, but you'll be able to see it on Tuesday as they start this Wednesday. Should be exciting stuff. Also, like this video if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 250 subscribers. I believe I need about 5 or 6 more. And also like the Facebook page. Email me for ideas. birdtechjohnny@gmail.com is the channel I use. Is the email I use for this channel. Thank you for watching this video and have a fantastic day. I'll see you in my next video. Share this video with all your friends. Share this video on Twitter or Facebook, however you want to say it. Have a great day. See you next time.